What's up, everybody? Spidey G09 here. I hope you're having a marvelous day. Today's a big day on the channel. We've got our second shipment of cards from PSA. These cards were shipped back in February, and a lot has changed in the Marvel trading community since then. A lot has changed in the grading community since then. We're going to open up these cards, have a good time, talk about the changes, and, you know, just enjoy some Marvel graded goodness. Up next.
It is here.
You Parker?
Yeah.
Got a sign here.
Yeah. Well, what is it?
I don't know.
What's in it? Here, bring it in, huh? Watch the lady. Thanks a lot, guys. Fragile. It must be Italian.
Well, I think that says fragile, honey.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody, here it is. We've got our Fragile box from PSA, shipped to us yesterday. I have patiently waited to open this, to be able to do this with you guys on the channel. We've got an 8-card submission here. You know, these cards were pretty big hitters at one time. They cooled off recently, but without further ado, I'm going to get this cracked open. I'm going to do it off camera because sometimes it can be painful to watch somebody open these boxes on camera, and I don't want to be that guy. So let me do that now. I want to express these two 1990 Marvel Universe holograms. Pretty clean, pretty centered. Captain America. Here we've got Black Costume Spider-Man, Wolverine, Stan Lee, Mr. Marvel, and another Wolverine. And it's honestly, these are not necessarily the best cards that I have, but they are the best cards that I have of the biggest names in the set. That's why I chose these, and a little bit of a test run to see, you know, how they'll grade. Understanding how these cards come back will help me be a better grader of cards in the future. And if they come back 10s, we'll be, you know, making some money. So this is the first order. These are the express ones. These are the ones we'll get back the fastest. All right, guys, here they are. And, oh, isn't that nice? They gave us a card holder. So these cards, let's do this quick. These were checked in on March 5th. They were shipped in February. But and they went in with a large shipment of 3 different cards. But I don't want to draw this out. I want to get straight to the grades, because that's why most of you are here, and that's what most of you want to see are the grades. But we're going to have a conversation, a longer conversation at the after I do the grade reveals about these particular cards and about Marvel trading cards, graded trading cards in general. But without further ado, let's get to this. We're going to look at Deadpool last. That's the Deadpool rookie card. I want to check it out last before we look at the others. But here we have the Stan Lee, Stan the Man graded card here. And the back looks good. See how to do these reveals. Boom. So here's our card. Sorry for the reflection. The best way to do this, I'm not sure, but yeah, there it is. Card looks pretty good. Let's see what we've got. And we've got an 8. We've got a PSA 8 here. And, you know, who knows? Who knows why we got a PSA 8? But maybe a soft corner there. Maybe a little off-centered, not much. Still a great looking card. Yes, you know, like everybody, I want a 10, would love a 9. But we've got an 8. And I'll talk about what that means to me later on in the channel. I want to keep moving forward with these grades because, again, that's what everybody wants to see. So we've got the yellow and blue costume here, number 23. You know, this This might be my favorite Wolverine out of the 1990 set. Most of these cards are going to be the 1990s Marvel Universe trading cards. Really like this one a lot. So we've got here, it's a grade. We've got a 7. I was talking to a friend this morning, and I said, no more 7s, because we got a 7 here on our double impact Rogue. And again, we got a 7. So these particular cards here that I express ordered, I knew that some of these were not going to be the best grades. I thought that I would get these cards back quickly, and I wanted to send these in kind of as a baseline test. But then PSA got backed up. So here we have the brown and yellow suit Wolverine. This is probably the one that goes for the most money. It's the one that's connected to the hologram. And let's see what we have here. We've got, that threw me off. It's the number 10 card, but we got a 9. And, you know, not unpleased with that. Really thought that this we'd get a 10. Just taking a look here. Maybe a soft corner right there on the bottom left. The back of the card looks nice and centered. You know, could PSA be grading more strictly? You know, with the flood of cards, protecting those 10s, protecting that brand of PSA 10. I don't know. But that is a PSA 9. So we've got an 8, a 7, and a 9. Here we have the black costume Spider-Man, card number 2, one of the more desirable cards in the set. Here, I don't know if that's on the card, that little black mark right there. That's interesting. Don't remember that being on the card, but let's see what we've got. We've got a PSA 8, another 8. Yep, so I don't know. I can tell that corner looks like it's got something going on up at the top. But again, I sent these in, not because they were the best cards, but, you know, the cards that the best characters and the best version of those character cards that I had from the 90s set is why I sent these in. All right, we got Captain America number 1 in the set here. Great looking card. You know, this card I remember thinking had the best chance. There's another little speck of something there. Those were not on the cards when I submitted them. But let's see what we've got here. We've got another 9. Not quite a 10. You know, my plans for these cards and desires for these cards are changing as I open these up and as I grade them. But we'll talk more about that. Let's see what we've got here. All right, we've got Silver Surfer. This is a great looking hologram. It's probably one of the better holograms that I had in terms of centering. Grading these surfaces without, just a casual look from the eye. I think maybe there's a little something going on right there, but, I sent this one in mainly because of how it looked from a centering standpoint, and it got a PSA 8. PSA 8. Which is not, look, that's actually not terrible for a hologram. That's, 30 plus years old. But would have loved to have seen that in the 9. It would have been, incredible as a 10, but didn't happen. So, got another hologram here. This one should be Cosmic Spider-Man, and it is. This one's not as well centered, but the surface looked incredible. It was the best Cosmic Spider-Man that I had, so I went ahead and set it in. And let's see what we have here. We have a PSA 8. We got matching holograms. So maybe I could just start a PSA 8 collection. I'm ahead of the game. But again, the card looked great. The surface looked good. It wasn't the best centered card in the world, but it was worth getting graded to me at the time. And this was probably at the time the biggest card that I submitted, in my opinion. This is what people started calling the Deadpool rookie card. I'm sure a ton of these have gotten graded since then. This was pulled out of my own personal collection. I had my own X-Force poly bag. I actually literally went in the attic, pulled out the poly bag, and it had the Deadpool card in it. And the card, the card looks great. It had existed in that poly bag for all those years. And as far as I could tell, You know, it looked really good. It's hard to know what is considered good centering, bad centering, but now, you know, now that the months have passed and I've been looking at these cars more, you can look at the distance between the font and the border here and the distance there and tell this card has shifted up. And, you know, I'm not sure how to tell from the distance from the left to right, but it does look like it might be a little more to the right than it is to the left. The back of the card, you know, the back of the card looks good. I don't think I could have asked for better corners, maybe, but, you know, considering it lived in that poly bag, I feel like the corners were rather good. So let's see what we have here. We have a PSA 8. Goodness gracious. So guys, we've got, you know, quite the shipment here of 8s. So let's stack these. So this is an 8, 9, 8, 9, lonely 7, and 8. So we sent in 8 cards, and we got 5 8s, 2 9s, and a 7. And yeah, so what am I going to do with these cards? You know, let's talk about that. So originally when I sent these in, you know, I had some desire to sell them. And the reason why is because of the amounts that they were going for. And I wanted to get my money back. The money that I had paid to grade. This grading shipment was $75 a card. So that added up to $644. So I was like, yeah, let's get some 10s and 9s and let's sell them. But now that time has passed since you know, I sent these in, and what's changed is the fact that I've become more of a collector of these cards since I sent them in to be graded. You know, the 90s nostalgia, the collecting of my childhood has just been reinvigorated. I've really enjoyed the Marvel trading card community quite a bit. And with the amount of cards that I have currently sitting at PSA, even with this 1990 set, you know, it's made me realize, hey, you might want to go ahead and just work on a set collection of graded cards from the 90 set, rather than just getting your money back, since I've already made these investments. And most of these cards were from my childhood collection. And so I don't really have anything invested in the cards themselves. The total investment has been in the PSA grading. And, you know, what I have in them grading is you know, roughly what it would cost to buy these right now if you were trying to buy them today, like today being May 29th. That wouldn't have been true a few months ago, but it is true today. So, yeah, I think I'm going to just start a graded collection from the 1990 set and slowly work on knocking that out. And I think it'll be fun. In the meantime, you know, got some good ones already graded here. Are they perfect grades? No, they're not perfect grades, but they're good cards, and they are already graded. I don't have to wait on these anymore or do anything like that. So let's talk about what has changed since I sent these off to be graded. These were sent off in February. You know, a PSA 10 of this card was selling for $2,000. Black Costume Spider-Man, $1,500 to $2,000. The Deadpool card was selling for $4,000. And I don't even know if I ever even saw a recorded sale of a PSA 10 of either Cosmic Spider-Man or Silver Surfer. But the 9s were selling for, you know, hundreds if not thousands of dollars. Wolverine, $1,000, $1,500 to $2,000. This Wolverine, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. Captain America, you know, $1,500 to $2,000. Let's get these actually in numerical order. These had cooled off quite a bit now. And, you know, there's probably multiple factors in that. But one of the main factors is PSA halted their submissions. You can't submit. And what that did is it caused a significant delay in getting your cards graded, but the bulk of cards that were submitted in caused a significant delay of getting your cards back. And the people who started receiving their cards, knowing that there is a backlog of graded cards sitting at PSA, I think began to sell their cars for less than they really want to because they're afraid they're going to get caught in a flood of the market. And so there's this sense of urgency of selling of, hey, I've got to get these sold now, so I'll take anything that's a profit, anything that's a good profit, not a significant profit. So I don't know where that means these cards are going to go in the future, but I think the nature of the collector is going to change. And rather than me getting into that, if you haven't checked out Sketch Card Hive, Norn Rad, he's kind of the godfather of knowledge when it comes to these Marvel trading cards. I'm going to represent the kid who collected in the 90s, who just jumped back into the collecting community, where he's been there most of the time, if not all along. But watch his channel. He dropped it this morning, again, May 29th, if you're watching at some point in the future. Well, I guess if you're watching, it is in the future, but longer in the future. And he does a really good job of talking about how he sees this market changing and what is your kind of true Marvel trading card collector, not just your 90s kid collector. Although there's nothing wrong with that because that's who I am in many ways. But yeah, the value of these cards, the reason people are buying, the reason people are selling is going to change over time. And I think many of us who sent these cards in thinking we would be card flippers are going to wind up being card collectors when it's said and done, and not going to be flipping as many cards. Because once you get these in hand, I mean, it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet to hold these graded cards in the cases, already encased, and already graded here. Lots of fun. I got kind of hard pressed to get rid of this Deadpool card because this isn't just a Deadpool that's been graded as an 8. So for those who do not know, this is X-Force 1 polybag version of this book. Came with cards, and it was an assortment of 4. I found mine in the attic in my kind of dollar bin bag of books that I had. So anyways, we're going to open these up and we're going to sleeve and top load these cards, and they're going to PSA. So excited about that. This is my Deadpool from the 90s, from my comic book that's graded as an 8. And therefore that means it means more to me than what the market's willing to pay at this time. So yeah, I'm not selling this card. I'm holding on to it. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be true of a lot of these guys who sent these cards in to flip, but once they get their grades back, especially if they're not 9s and 10s, are going to end up holding on to them and being graded collectors. So cards here. We're going to start with the Stan Lee PSA 8. As you can see here on May 27th, we had a $40 sale. May 27th, we had a $51 sale. Again, May 27th, $52 sale for PSA 8s. And it was $75 to grade the card. So that's in the negative there. However, PSA 10 still getting $510, way off from those original numbers that we saw. And I think we're going to see a ton of PSA 8 graded. Here we got an $83 sale here, $90 sale here for a PSA 8. And when you see that, when you see these numbers, it makes you not want to sell, makes you want to collect. And like I said, it's kind of shifting my thought process to why not try to get a whole PSA graded set, considering the amount of cards that are going to be graded and come out in these grades. Next, we're going to look at the Wolverine number 23, that mine graded at a PSA 7. Very disappointing. Don't even know if there's a PSA 7 sale. Let's keep looking here. You can see these 10s are going for $300, $400. PSA 9 hologram, not looking at that. Yeah, don't even see a PSA 7 sale. I mean, I'm not going to say it's worthless, but here's a PSA 7 Mr. Fantastic for $5.50. So I would say, it's like a $20 card, $15 card. Yeah, real miss on that one. Next, we have the Captain America number 1 in the series and a PSA 9. That's what I have mine graded as, is selling for around $51. See if there's another PSA 9 sale we can look at here. And that, let's go back to that date. That was on May 27th, so a couple of days ago. And that is the only... All right, here's another PSA 9 back on May 24th. Sold for $102.50. So much better. You can see that the difference between 9 and 8s is quite the big jump. Here's another PSA 9 for $100. Somebody appeared to have got a decent deal for $62, $63. And here's another one, 51. So just depending on your timing, it looks like you're somewhere between $50 and $100 on that Captain America as a PSA 9. Next, we pulled the Wolverine number 10 in the set. Here's a sale back on, well, yesterday, May 28th for $51, May 27th for $27, May 27th for $57, excuse me, May 27th for $56, May 27th for $57. You guys can see what I'm seeing here. It's a $50 card as a PSA 9. Here's one that jumped up to $84. But good looking card. When you're $75 into it, plus it's hard to sell for $50 when you're a fan of the cards. Next, we've got the Black Costume Spider-Man. And the Black Costume Spider-Man at, that's the number 2 in the set. This is a PSA 8. Let's see if we can find a sell. Here's one. PSA 9 sold for $86. Raw sold for $18. Here's a PSA 8, $22. That's about right, in my opinion. Wow, here's a BGS. Sold for $900. That's pretty awesome. PSA 8, $70. So, you know, 20, 50, 70. That's about what you're going to see on the PSA 8s for the Black Costume Spider-Man. Here's another $80 sale. Let's take a look at these holograms. We've got PSA 8s on the Silver Surfer. And here's a sale for $75, $76. We've got one for $56. $51 for, well, that's Cosmic Spider-Man. We're going to look at it next. That's crazy. And this is a PSA 8. It's sold on March. That's March. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, guys. So look, this is back on March 17th. So that's 2 months ago from these May sales here. Somebody paid $340 on the PSA 8. Let's pull that up. Yeah, PSA 8. And now they're going for $50 to $75. The cost of grading. So, again, I think you're going to see people keeping these in their collections, not flipping them. And here we've got the Cosmic Spider-Man as a PSA 8. We've got a $102 sale, $101 sale, $99 sale, $81 sale, $53 sale. And interestingly enough, these prices have climbed since May 17th. That's fascinating to me. That's the only card that we can look here and see, you know, in the month of May where the prices have climbed. But here back on May 10th, someone paid $450 for a PSA 8. Yeah, that's crazy. Don't think you're going to see that today unless you're just kind of lucky. April 19th, $355 for a PSA 8. April 8th, $650 for a PSA 8. Yeah. So what you're seeing is people are doing whatever they have to do to drop these prices to unload these cards immediately because of the fear of the flood of cards that are going to come into the market. Lastly, we have the Deadpool promo card, the rookie card as people call it. Mine's a PSA 8, so that's the sales that we're looking at here. Not bad, you know, $120, $199. That's back on May 8th, May 18th. May 8th, $109. April 25th, $101. March 21st, $227. Here's a PSA 9 that sold for almost $200. And some raw cards, some of the signature cards, BGS cards. And, you know, so these aren't coming up for sale as often. My guess is, again, you're going to see people keeping these in their personal collections, just like I am. And because of the history that I have with this particular card from my particular collection, you know, it makes it worth more to me to keep, especially since I'm $75 in on the grading and it's mine. It's hard to flip for 30, 40, 50, even $100 when it kind of has that legacy attached to it. And, you know, I want one in my own collection. Do I wish it was a PSA 10? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I wish it was a PSA 10. But it's fun to have. It's fun to collect. So, guys, you know, we've gone over the numbers here. We see what's happening in the market. You know, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you foresee happening as we kind of move past this wave of graded cards. Because I think you're going to see Marvel graded cards take a dip in the number of cards once this wave of cards floods the market and, you know, collectors, sellers, flippers, buyers decide how they're going to react to it and what they're going to collect. I love these lower entry points because I think the more access people have to these type of cards, the broader and the deeper the market will go. If these cards stayed at $500 to $2,000 a sale, you're just going to have a very small segment of the community being able to buy it and or want to buy it at that price. Most everyone would want to be a seller, not a buyer. But with these sales prices dropping, I think that actually is healthy for the collecting community because more and more and more people are going to be collectors rather than sellers. And I think that's awesome for the community. So love to hear your thoughts. Guys, remember to like and comment and subscribe. It means a lot to me. I love to see the growth of our channel. Very thankful for each one of you. And I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you've had a marvelous day.